What is the breaking point of a relationship? What do you do when the love of your life is leaving you because you're too focused on your career? What if that career is that you are a Major League Baseball pitcher with one last shot for glory? With his career winding down and his longtime girlfriend leaving for London, Billy Chappell reflects on the struggle with his love life and his love of the game. All the while, Billy is on the cusp of completing a perfect game. Wes and Darling Beat get some peanuts and Cracker Jacks at the old ball game in For Love of the Game on View the Right Thing.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of View the Right Thing. We got another regular episode. So with me, as always, I've got my wonderful, lovely friend, Darling Beat. Say hi, Beat.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good-ish. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm still struggling with this illness that I've had. I'm hoping it goes away soon. By the time people hear this, you'll have come visited me in real life. So I'm really excited about that. But I'm just trying to get better, heal thyself before you arrive.
Well, you got a little while, so.
Yeah. But I went and did research today. I went to Universal Studios and hurt the shit out of my knee today. So that was fun.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was getting off of that. I was getting off of the Hagrid ride in Harry Potter Land, and it's like a kid ride, and so the cars are they're kind of low to low and like a little compact, and I just smacked my knee on the safety bar thing of the seat next to me.
Ouch!
And
you got a bruise?
I haven't seen a bruise yet, and I was fine all day, and I came home and I was just wiped out, and so I took a nap for an hour, and when I woke up I was like, oh my god, it hurts to walk. and I had to stop and think. I was like, how did I hurt my leg? And then I flashed back to that moment.
You don't ever get mystery bruises?
Not so much. Desi gets them all the time. She's always running into stuff.
See?
Yeah, so oh yeah. But
that or my cat jumps on me randomly, and then I'm 2 days later, where did this come from?
Yeah. If I sound weird, it's partially because I've been coughing and partially because I have a cough drop in my mouth. So sorry about that, viewsters. Deal with it. All right. Well, our episodes are kind of right to the heart of the matter now. Unless you've got some things you want to talk about. You want to talk about life or anything?
I'm thinking what's going on in life besides my visit.
Yeah, that's all I can think about is your visit. I'm so excited.
Well, it's the best thing on the agenda, so therefore,
yeah.
Rightfully so.
I'm you have no idea. You have no, however excited you think I am, quadruple it.
Good. Very good.
Okay, well then let's just talk about this movie. We watched a film called For Love of the Game. Not For the Love of the Game, For Love of the Game. And here's the little synopsis. After 19 years of playing the game he's loved his whole life, Detroit Tigers pitcher Billy Chappell has to decide if he's going to risk everything and put everything out there. What a bad... I'm going to find another one. That was bad. I should have read that first.
It wasn't that bad.
No, they're all bad. I will just stick with that one. It's just, if he's going to risk everything and put everything out there, it's just why use everything twice like that? It's just weird. Get it together, IMDb.
Do better.
Yeah, do better, IMDb.
Be better.
So, Kevin Costner, Kelly Preston, rest in peace, John C. Reilly, Jenna Malone, who I love Jenna Malone. I haven't seen her in anything in a long time. What is she doing these days?
Who did Jenna Malone play?
The daughter, Heather.
Mm.
Yeah, she's doing stuff
I think
still.
she was in Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, a little something in there sometime.
I'm looking. She was in Batman v Superman. She's in a bunch of stuff. Hunger Games. I remember in Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, she was the mean one.
Yeah, Joanna.
Fucking Joanna.
Fucking Joanna. Yeah, I mean, she was in something this year, something last year, something the year before, some TV shows. Yeah, so she's still working. Kelly Preston, she's awesome. But she was awesome. She was married to John Travolta. She died, I don't know, about 3 years ago. Breast cancer. Sucks.
Sucks.
Yeah. So as always, the question is, Beat, did you enjoy this film?
Before I say my answer,
Oh
I
my
need you
God,
not to get so mad at me.
You always
okay?
qualify like this. It scares me.
It was a good movie.
Uh-huh.
I thought the plot was cute.
Uh-huh.
But I thought it was so cringy.
Oh, sure. It's definitely dated.
Oh, gosh. The amount of cringe in this movie just made me cringe.
Yeah. It's very much like it's from 1999 and it's very much a product of the 90s. Like it's sort of getting close to the end of that era of this type of film. But yeah, it's definitely dated. I feel you. I still love the movie though. I don't mind. I mean, I watched stuff from the 50s and it's cringy too, you know? Like, but it's still charming, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a charming and good movie, but
You seemed like you were really into it.
that was funny.
Yeah. You seemed really into the baseball stuff.
Oh, baseball? Yes.
You had me like
100%.
replaying. Like, I don't know if that guy was safe. Replay it. You had me like replay a scene, like a moment like 3 times.
I'm a little competitive, and
Yeah.
I was like, he better have touched that bag.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So, okay. So this is something I didn't discuss with you ahead of time. So, the director of this film directed another movie that you and I have watched for the podcast. Do you want to make some guesses at what other movie this guy could have directed?
Oh gosh. What? I'm gonna sit here forever inside of my head, running through the movies and going, okay,
Yeah.
what is it? What is it? What is it? I need you to tell me.
So this is directed by Sam Raimi, director of The Evil Dead.
What? See? Look. There you are, out of left field, because I was never getting there.
How amazing is that?
That's such a 180.
Yeah, well, and then he ends up going on to do Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire after this.
He directed Spider-Man?
Yeah. He did all 3 of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and he did the most recent Doctor Strange film.
Man, this peppered resume.
Yeah.
You go, sir.
But, he's also, he's directed a bunch of other things, and then he's produced a bunch of stuff. Like, he's even produced some, like, modern horror stuff, like, what's the one with the curse? The lady curses them. Drag Me to Hell?
Oh,
Yeah,
I love that movie.
That's a Sam Raimi produced movie. I don't think he directed it, but I know he produced it. Drag Me to... Let's look. Directed by... Nope, it was directed by Sam Raimi.
That's pretty cool.
That feels like it's more in the wheelhouse of Evil Dead, but yeah. So this film directed by Sam Raimi, like completely like you said, kind of out of left field, not expected. It's the first movie he ever did in Panavision, to that kind of wider screen with the black bars and the letterboxing. So talk to me about talk to me about what your thoughts. Tell me about what you thought when you were watching the movie. Let's discuss.
So my first opinion about the movie is I hated Jane.
Oh, poor Jane.
But
you
I
hated
loved
her from the beginning. You were like,
yeah,
this
that's
girl.
what I mean. My opinion changed drastically.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm on Mr. Billy Chapel's side. I love baseball. I love softball. So I was like, he just wants to play the game.
Yeah.
That's the love of his life. And then he did all that stuff.
Oh yeah. It was like, come on, man. Like, Read the room.
Exactly.
Well,
And that's a little bit of the cringiness I was talking about. Is like, do people really act like that?
yeah.
Like, I know in cases of like high stress, lose all hope, like with his hand
Yeah.
thing, like people can lash out like that and place the blame, the grief on other people, so that they can lash and make themselves feel better, even though in the long run it doesn't. But everything else he did, like with the cheating, he couldn't have gone one night.
Oh yeah, with the masseuse. Yeah, come on,
Yes.
dude. Like, be disappointed, but you know, I don't know.
Don't go hop in a bed.
Yeah, it was so funny. You were like at the beginning, you were like, "This woman standing him up," blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, "There's more to the story beat." Calm down. You were invested. You were invested from the beginning.
I mean, I was a little attracted to Kevin Costner, so I was like,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna stand him up.
He's handsome. You know that he shot a scene where he had full frontal nudity, and they cut it, and he got mad at the studio and was like, they don't have the guts to do this and blah blah blah. And it turns out that it was in the movie for a test screening, and the audience was like, it's not that impressive. Like, do we really need to see his penis? So they cut it from the movie.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Way to chop a man down.
yeah, I know, right?
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. But when I was saying I hated Jane, I listed out reasons why I hated her.
Oh,
This is how
no.
invested I was.
Oh no. What were they?
She stood him up,
Okay.
but we realized we're gonna cross that off the list because rightfully so. Yes, queen. Second, she lied about having a kid. I hate that.
It was a lie by omission. And
It's lie by omission, but if they were dating for a very long time, like not dating, but like he was involved in her life for a very long time. They had conversations. Like, why not just bring it up? If he's not, and then she lied about not being serious. If you weren't serious, you would have brought up the kid. And don't lie about not being serious because
yeah.
that's just stupid.
Well, the big one that's kind of a little bit on her is the whole like, oh yeah, no strings, and like, you know, you do your thing and I'll do my thing. Yeah, that whole thing. And then she's like, of course I was lying. Like, of course I didn't mean it. Like, yeah, why didn't you just say that? You guys would do it's what Roger Ebert called an idiot plot, where if like two people just had a conversation with each other and were just honest with each other, then, you know, roll credits, everything's good. But
yes, me and Rick talk about this all the time. The miscommunication plot, like how we hate if we're reading a book, we will literally stop the book if it's miscommunication.
Yeah,
we're like, nope. I am not getting my heart broken because they can't listen or have an open conversation.
Yeah, communication's key.
Exactly. But to steer the conversation away from the love story, I love their portrayal of baseball games.
Oh yeah, it's so
I
good.
thought he did so good. Like, when he first walked out onto the field and like, he's like that feeling. I don't know. I felt that feeling like he was just like, it's a fresh start. It's a new game. Just like happy to be there, breathing in the sand.
Yeah.
The grass.
Clear the mechanism.
Oh god, that was so cringy. It's the fucking Matrix.
It's very 90s. This idea that you could just like, you focus by like a catchphrase.
Clear the mechanism.
So friend of the podcast, Chris Lamb, he loves that line. Like I've heard him say it many times.
Okay, hold on. I gotta breathe. I gotta get myself together.
Yeah, get yourself together. Come on, Beat. Pull it together.
When he first said it, I was laughing so hard because I was like, what? Like, it was out of nowhere. And then I was like, I thought he was going to be like, all right, come on, Billy, you got this. All right, clear your head. Just breathe. One pitch at a time. You know, something about baseball. But instead, he changed his mind
Yeah, I feel
to a
like
mechanism.
they probably could have made it. I mean, maybe with a little more backstory or something, they could have made that make a little bit more sense, and it wouldn't have felt so weird. Like, I think the idea is that everything is about mechanics to him, right? Like like that's how pitchers work. Is everything is about mechanics. It's like you're a machine, and you that's why, like, when he has the injury to his hand and he can't feel the seams on the ball, like that's really, really important, right?
Yeah.
So the machine has like a problem with it. So I think I get that, and I think it's sort of like the feeling I get just talking about it makes me feel like it comes from his father. Um so because his father's telling him, like, focus, don't think about anything, just think about throwing the ball, that kind of thing. And so
Those would have all been very nice catchphrases.
yeah. So I feel like they could have probably made that feel a little bit more natural. But again, back in the 90s, it was like there was a lot of like style over substance, and so like
Yeah.
they were just constantly looking for one-liners and catchphrases and stuff. So, it's a byproduct of that, I think, more than anything else. I'm all right with it. Like, it only happens a couple times.
A couple.
That was like 3 times in the movie, maybe.
It's like 4 or 5 times.
Oh,
You should look
whatever.
it up. How many times does he say clear the mechanism? I did love the fuck you pitch with Gus Gus.
Oh, yeah, the high inside.
Yes. Done
Yeah.
that many of times. So I understand that. Liked it.
Yeah, you like the catcher.
Yes. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, or I mean, John C. Reilly's great, but you have a specific affinity for catchers, so.
Of course. I don't know. I love that relationship that you have between a pitcher and a catcher. It's like, I don't know. I feel like they're your leaders of the entire field. Like,
Yeah.
they're controlling the pace, what happens,
When
aside from other very like factors like.
Well, they talk about that in the movie, right? They were like, Gus Sinski has this terrible batting average, he can't hit, but they pay him because he's so good behind the plate and calling games.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they definitely mention that, and I do like you're talking about the relationship between them and how he's like, the manager's like, I want to start the other catcher, and he's like, nope, not today. This one, I never ask anything. This one time, it's me and him. And then they're like, all right, let's do this one last time, you and me, to the end. There's a lot of sweet moments between between Gus and Billy.
That's his ball wife.
Yeah. You're the cream in my coffee, he says.
I really wanted at the beginning of the movie for him to put your seatbelt on, darling, or sweetheart, just to kind of just put a little spice on him being his wife instead of just put your seatbelt on.
Yeah, it's a funny moment though.
Yeah, hilarious.
So there were a couple references to other Kevin Costner movies in this. So one was I mentioned just a minute ago, You're the Cream in My Coffee. Gus says that to him. Someone says that to his character in the movie JFK. A woman walks up to him. I think she's singing it or something. And then there's a reference. So famously, Kevin Costner's done multiple baseball movies. He did this. He did Field of Dreams, is probably the most famous. And then Bull Durham, which is another comedy. And in this movie, at the end of the movie, he says, think, don't just throw, to himself. Because he's like trying to figure out what he needs to throw to get the ball across the plate. In Bull Durham, he's like a veteran pitcher in minor leagues, like kind of taking on a new talent. And so he's like mentoring him, and he tells him, don't think, just throw. Just bad advice, obviously, but
yes, 100%.
But yeah, so it's just kind of funny that they had those references in there.
Nice. You did tell me to mention a song.
Oh yeah, Paint It Black. That's like, okay, lots of movies use that Doors song. And it's so like, I mean, obviously it's a good song and it's catchy and stuff, and it's like good for a movie because it's got like a driving beat and stuff. But this is maybe the best use of Paint It Black, because he's pitching like fastballs on the outside of the plate, which is called painting the black. Like, how smart is that?
It was nice.
Yeah,
Put the two and two together.
I love it. I love it so much. It's such a like effective use of that, and it's clever at the same time. So that's why I do need that.
Speaking of songs,
Mm-hmm.
so my note reads, "Headball Miss Song Mickey Hart."
What? Okay, so Mickey Hart gets hit in the head with the ball, and it goes over. I don't understand the song part.
You told me to mention the song at that part.
I think it was just I make a note of like the moment. I don't think it was the song. I don't remember what song it was.
I might have been invested.
Yeah. So so in the movie, he's playing, and a ball gets hit deep into the outfield, and the center fielder, I think center fielder or left fielder, goes back for the ball, and he misses, he like loses track of it, and the ball hits him on the head and bounces up, and a fan catches it, so it's a home run. Is that a home run? Yeah, it's a home run, right?
It should be a 2-run double.
Do you think it's a double? Yeah, it might be a double, but either way, and so there's a whole thing about it's probably going to be on ESPN tonight. And then there's this really sweet moment where Kevin Costner's like, you can go out there and you can do the dance and joke about it or whatever, or you can just go out and just walk straight past them and hold your head up high. Don't help them make a joke out of you. Mm-hmm. And it's like this really kind of meaningful moment between these two guys, which is paid off, of course, later at the end of the film, when one of the guys hits a ball deep to the outfield, and Mickey jumps up and robs the home run to save the perfect game. And so it's sort of like, oh, this was his moment to pay him back. But
I also did like that because Billy was like, hey, we'll go out there and we'll practice.
Yeah, we'll do this together. Next time we'll do it together. Me and you, you and the wall.
So sweet.
The whole thing with the ball hitting him on the head is based on a real incident that happened to Jose Canseco, who used to play for the Athletics, where he's playing the outfield, the ball just like bonks him right on top of the head, and for like the rest of the season, ESPN played that as a clip, like the whole season long. And if you go to baseball games now, if they do like a blooper reel, that's almost always in the blooper reel.
That's so mean.
Yeah. Jose Canseco is a jerk meathead who used a bunch of steroids and like is super cool about it, and like wrote a whole book about it and is like, yeah, I did it, so what? Just like, I don't know, not a great guy. So, couldn't happen to a better guy. But yeah, that's why I had you make that note, because it's based on a real thing. You have any other notes?
I did. I was just checking off my notes, checking off it. I'll read that one last. That one's funny.
Okay.
I like that. I like how suspenseful they made it. And now that I know he made the freaking Evil Dead, it's probably why. But like, it's just like a suspenseful feeling. Like, and I understand that feeling. So it's like every pitch counts.
Yeah.
How everybody's gonna react counts. And I loved how well they portrayed that.
Yeah. I agree.
Agree. You also told me to mention Billy's parentals.
So a couple things. It was like a World Series, like 1984, which the Tigers actually did play against the Padres. They mention it multiple times in the movie. Like some guys like, oh yeah, I took my kids to see you play against the Padres. That's a real thing. The Tigers, I think, is a lot. I don't know if it was the last time the Tigers won the World Series. I was about to say that, but they may have won since then. So the Tigers beat the Padres like 4-1 or something. So it's a real event, but his parents are played by Kevin Costner's actual parents. which I thought was
That's so sweet.
Yeah, kind of sweet, right?
I think that's adorable. Yeah. 84.
80, 84, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what the rest means, but yeah, 84. And then I only have one more note.
Yeah.
And this one isn't really an opinion or like a note. It's more of an opinion.
Uh-huh.
It's just this the cringiest movie I've ever watched, and I've seen Twilight.
Oh, you think this is cringier than Twilight? You crazy. You are crazy.
Bella, where have you been, Luca?
Oh my god.
Clear the mechanism. I don't know. For rating those two.
I don't know, man. Spider Monkey and the owl wings behind it when she first sees him in class. I mean, there's so much that's cringy about Twilight. We could do a whole episode just on the cringe of Twilight.
You could. It would be funny. But that's all my notes.
Yeah. So a couple little fun facts before we wrap up. Tom Cruise was originally going to play Billy Chapel originally.
Ew.
And I think Sidney Pollack was going to direct the movie. J.K. Simmons, who's in this, went on to work with Sam Raimi multiple times, and it ended up being a really important role for him. He went on to play J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movies, and video games and cartoons, and continues to do it to this day. Sam Raimi put his brother Ted in it, in the movie. He's the guy that tries to turn him away at the art show. He always puts his brother Ted in his movies somewhere. Let's see here. What other notes do I have here? No Tigers pitcher in history has ever thrown a perfect game. So, definitely fiction. Ha ha ha, F you, Tigers. And then I guess the only other thing that I think is kind of interesting is George Steinbrenner, who owned the Yankees at the time, notable a-hole, but genius businessman, was upset with the movie because he didn't like that the Yankees were going to lose at Yankee Stadium. And so he got upset about that. And so Kevin Costner had a meeting with him and was like, look, here's the deal. They're going to lose this game, but the next day they're going to clinch the playoffs and go on to the division series. And so he was like, okay, fine. But
that's so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm so angry. This fictional game is going to be a loss on my record.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel doesn't do movies where his character loses. He doesn't ever want to be portrayed as losing.
I mean, didn't he lose, though, in Fast and Furious? So many people died.
You mean
so many people.
In the first one, you mean?
I mean, technically.
But he gets away at the end, right? But then that was before he was Vin Diesel, you know? Now he doesn't do stuff where his character loses.
That's so cringy. I hate that.
Yeah.
I would hate to play the same character.
He also doesn't do his stunts.
What a wimp. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't either.
Well, I mean, he sort of built his career on that, but that's part of the reason that he and The Rock have a big falling out is The Rock thinks he's a big wimp.
I was literally going to say, that's why I love The Rock, because he plays a lot of great characters where it, tests him.
Yeah.
He's not always a big, he's not always winning.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about action.
Emotional.
We're talking about action films, and we've sort of have touched on this before in previous things. We talked about it with James Bond. Is you can't have your main character win all the time. They have to come from a disadvantage. Jackie Chan's made a really great career on that, where his characters always are at they're always the underdog. They're always at a disadvantage. He's always outnumbered, or he doesn't have, like Bruce Willis in Die Hard, like he doesn't have shoes on.
Lovely movie.
You have to those the best ones, right? Are the ones where they have to overcome insurmountable odds. And if you start at the top and never lose, then like it's just kind of boring. That's why those movies, those Fast and Furious movies, are so like so rooted in fantasy, where like nothing is plausible, nothing is like physics don't exist because they don't have anywhere to go. They can't. They don't start at the bottom and work their way up. They already start at the top, so they just got to be like, well, let's launch cars into space. It's dumb. Although I will say I want to see the new Fast and Furious movie. I think it does look pretty good.
Goodness, I don't even remember the last one I seen. I think they were in Spain.
I've watched all of them, and the last several I really did not like. But I like all the actors in them. It's just the movies are bad. But this new movie, like, it feels like they're going to pay off the series, and hopefully it'll be the last one, and they'll go out on a high note. It looks pretty good. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, I think my favorite action person would probably be like Jason Statham.
Yeah, well, he's in those movies.
Yeah, but I like him being the main character.
Sure. I don't know. Yeah, I like Jason Statham. I like his earlier stuff better than his later stuff, but Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch are both just super, super, those are just excellent films. That's also early Guy Ritchie, so,
I think I've seen Snatch, but I don't know about the other two.
Wait, he was in Lock, Stock, right? I might have my movies mixed up. Let me check before I just make a complete ass of myself. Maybe he wasn't in Lock, Stock.
I have a sin to confess.
Well, what's that? He wasn't in that
one. I was playing the Guess the Celebrity game, where three faces come up and you have to like name them in order to pass, like all three, or you skip. Han Solo.
Harrison Ford?
But I didn't know his name.
Oh my god.
And I literally looked, and then I realized who it was. I said, Wes is gonna hate me.
Did you put it on TikTok?
No, I do have the video though.
Yeah, I saw your friend Ruth did that, and like she just changes it every single one. She doesn't know any of the people. I'm like, what are you doing? You're killing me.
Oh my god, she did a movie one, and a bunch of movies came up, and then I was like, she hadn't seen Silence of the Lambs.
Oh man, I commented on one of them. I was like, Ruth.
I think it was that one. I do think it was that one, because she kept skipping, and I'm like, you don't know that movie?
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm like, you have
I worry
a friend.
For her.
I was like, you have a best friend who's like a host on a movie podcast. You got to do better. That sounds like you got to do better, Beat. You gotta get her up to snuff.
Well, I mean, if we're doing TV shows, she's got his beat. It's just the movies.
Yeah, right. Well, all right, back to this. Is there anything you would like to say about this particular film? Would you recommend it?
If you like baseball, yes.
Yeah.
Only for the baseball parts.
Not for the romance?
Not for the romance.
It's funny because I like the romance part of it. I like their relationship. I really especially like his relationship with her daughter in the film. And I like that they didn't do the whole, like, he's afraid of having a relationship with a woman with a teenage daughter. Like, a lot of movies would have him, like, that would be a point of contention between them. Like, a thing that he would have to, like, overcome.
And it was never a big deal.
It was never a big deal to him. He was like, cool. I'm thinking, like, how cool it would be for us to spend time together. I'm like, yes! Like, I love those aspects of the movie. I like that, like, one of the things I think is great about this movie is it bridges the gap between, like, some couples are very stereotypical. Like, dudes like action and sports, and the girls like, the drama and the romance and stuff. And I feel like this is such a good marriage between those two things. Because there's like plenty of baseball and it's exciting and fun and funny. And then there's like, a third of the movie is the romance, which I don't know.
Agree to that.
So cool. So you would recommend it to somebody who likes baseball? Great. I love it. I would recommend it to whomever. Hooray. All right. Well, then I think that's it. Any last parting words, Beat?
Nope.
Spoken like a true leader. All right. Well, then in the meantime, until we see y'all next. Oh, there is. I'll start teasing it in about a month from when this airs. We're going to have a really big special episode. I'm very, very excited about it, but I'm not going to say what it is yet. But yeah, a really, really big extravaganza episode.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.
All right, everybody. Till next time, Bon Cinema.